If you don't like it, just don't read it. So what? My favorite book is a love story between a 40-year-old serial killer and a 16-year-old girl. It's just fiction. If you don't like that, you're actually sexist. He's very misunderstood. It's actually very romantic, is what I would say if I was crazy, and apparently a lot of people are. So we're gonna have to talk about the dark side of the dark romance obsession, which is almost every side, and why so many women are getting hooked on these stories the same way that men get addicted to pornography. I know not many people want to talk about that, they don't want to admit it, but it's an important conversation to have. We're gonna look into the psychology behind this and how this blurs fiction and reality. It's disturbing. Kind of perfect for Halloween, which is getting closer and it's getting colder. So you really do need to get yourself some merch. Get yourself a Misfit hoodie or an MP hoodie. They're super warm and soft. Everything's linked below. And now let's begin.
Looking for a new book boyfriend. Billionaire. 6'5", brown eyes.
It's not just some niche corner of the internet anymore, so let's read a little bit about it first. Sales of science fiction and fantasy books rocketed last year, with their value increasing by 41.3% between 2023 and 2024. The booming popularity of romantasy, the subgenre blending elements of fantasy and romance that is a favorite of TikTok's BookTok community, helped drive the rise.
There is no reason that I should be getting this unhinged over a man who is stalking this poor, innocent, unassuming girl.
Yeah, I have the same reaction.
Pulled a screwdriver out from my back pocket, closing the distance between us. Then I pressed the screwdriver into her back and shove her between two broken tractors.
That is romantic to you? I suppose literacy was too much power to hand out to some people. It has escaped Wattpad and AO3. They're now apparently printing felonies in hard copy now, romanticizing that. Why does this matter? Well, BookTok doesn't just exist in a vacuum. This shows up in real life events because fiction can cause harm, especially when it repeatedly glamorizes things like violence, coercion, or toxic dynamics without critique. So it doesn't brainwash anyone overnight, but it can shape perception over time. So if you keep reading these stories, if you become obsessed with that, where abuse equals love or danger equals devotion, your brain starts linking love with fear, abuse. That doesn't mean dark or disturbing fiction shouldn't exist, but the issue is how it's presented.
We need to stop BookTok. No, we don't. Don't you dare.
Yes, and there are men who have discovered this and now see it as a business opportunity, so they dress up as serial killers or wear masks, and BookTok girls gravitate towards those videos. So yeah, we have things like this. Oh no, I tripped and fell. Oh my goodness, I'm not fast at running. Catch me if you can. Sag, you're it.
Dark romance is not above criticism, and I'm so tired of people getting yelled and screamed at because they criticize dark romance. People think just because it's fiction or just because it's art that it's above criticism. Art imitates life and life imitates art. And if you obsess over certain elements, eventually you will begin to romanticize those things if you do not cleanse, if you do not have critical conversations about them. That's how you end up with these girls who think that real life serial killers are hot and that they should be released from jail.
We should care about this, not to shame women, but to protect them. Addiction thrives in denial. So does that mean every book in this genre is glorifying violence? No. Does this mean every woman who's a fan of this is addicted? No. But there are so many who are and who deny it and then attack others for pointing out the obvious. Also, I'm not picking on this demographic specifically just cause most of this genre's readers happens to be straight women. That's just who's buying and reading these books. The question is, okay, why? Dark romance usually leans on exaggerated straight gender scripts like the dominant male, right, the fragile woman, and then layers on dark elements like abuse, coercion, obsession, but frames it as love, as passionate. And for some women, they can't keep fiction and reality separate, so that's a huge problem. Again, not everyone, not every book, but we really do have to talk about this when we're seeing so many look to real life serial killers and romanticize them. That's disgusting.
Critical consumption of media needs to extend also, and especially in fact, to dark romance. Every single time I have seen anyone try to raise even the mildest criticism of this genre, they are met with the worst kind of vitriol and let people enjoy what they enjoy. Because first we had Tilly Cole write a triple K romance.
What? Who? What? The triple K romance?
There was a group of people defending that decision. You can claim until you're blue in the face that reading this kind of stuff does not have any bearing on the real world, but who are the people that were commenting, hey BookTok, are you here? And I can fix him, and oh my god, when the Wade Wilson videos started popping up on TikTok of his trial. He is sentenced to the death penalty for murdering 2 innocent women, and he showed no remorse, even said that if given the chance he would do it again. One of the victims was brutalized to the point of no recognition. For you as a woman to sit there and romanticize that and hee ha ha and be like, I can fix him, you are an embarrassment and you are a disgrace.
Exactly. When she's angry that her husband pays more attention to the kids than her, so she kills them. That's so romantic. Are we okay? What? 15-year-old girl dates her middle school crush, only to find out it's her 40-year-old teacher who got surgery to look 15. Who's writing this? But I love you, says the 13-year-old boy. 12-year-old girl, there's a 17-year-old biker behind her saying, I'll kill you. Hello, police? Who finds this romantic? Turn yourselves in. This guy again. Do 13 and 28? And we do 12 and 64. Okay. These people should be in a cell. Also, we talked about bikers. So on Book Talk, this doesn't just stay in its lane because it bleeds into bike talk and these thirst trap POVs in every corner of the app where men realize that they can cash in on these women's addictions, right? And sometimes it starts to spill into real life. So some Book Talk women have started stalking real bikers, filming strangers, or acting out spice scenes in public. Creepy, unacceptable behaviors. Meanwhile, sales of nonfiction books, including academic and professional specialist titles, decreased 6.3%. Sales of popular psychology and self-improvement books fell, with declines of 6.1% and 21.1% in sales value respectively, which is not great, especially after seeing some of these dark romance videos and the kinds of books people are reading. You may actually want to pick up a self-improvement book or a how-to-shower book, or maybe the Bible. Why Book Talk is absolutely obsessed with dark romance. Culturally, we're attracted to things like true crime or thrillers, horror for a reason. Who is we? No, I like horror movies. I don't like true crime, and I also don't understand this obsession with it. Although I don't see a huge issue with it if you're approaching it respectfully, with the influencers especially who talk about these true crime cases. Some of them, as they're doing their eyeshadow, she got decapitated. How crazy. Follow for more. My favorite true crime. Your favorite true crime? These are human beings that were murdered. Innocent men and women. And you're out here saying my favorite true crime case. Teehee. Let's rank them. But I feel like there will probably be some overlap between those people and the Book Talk romance whatever. Because we still want to experience a sort of dark excitement of it, but not have to live it. She says, I think that stigma still exists because romance as a whole is written and consumed by women. And dark romance is an even bigger leap. It kind of blows people's minds a little bit. Yeah, because these are some of the videos you will find when you look up Book Talk, specifically dark romance.
Is a 10, but he also hit her with his car and broke her legs.
0.
He's actually a 10, but he's like a murderer. Ah, so cute. Brain dead. What are you guys reading? Because you may think something cringy, like, you know, Twilight. No, it's far worse. And the thing is, publishers know that sells, the darker it gets, the better it performs. So calling it empowering, again, it silences any real criticism, even though it's now marketed to younger and younger audiences with barely their warnings. They actually often have those covers and it looks cutesy, like that ice rink one. And the issue is when non-consensual or dehumanizing dynamics, those get rebranded as aspirational love.
I feel like if a book starts with a 2-page like trigger warning list and ends that list with the quote, your mental health matters, sign me
into a mental institution. You cut that part off. I hope you said that.
Does anybody on this godforsaken app read a single book that isn't just straight up? It's not spice. It's not a romantic novel. It's Colleen, what are you doing here? I heard like an audio book recording of this book right here. The one that looks like a children's coloring book.
That's the one I was talking about. Does that not look like something a middle schooler could pick up? No one sees an issue with that.
Do y'all know what this book is about? I'm about to finish Pride and Prejudice. I'm looking for a new book to read. Now I made the mistake of looking up books to read on TikTok. Every single book has spice.
When something harmful is framed as romantic instead of tragic, or it glamorizes dysfunction instead of questioning it, that's that's an issue. And if people were calling it out in these circles, fine. But so many people have an issue with that. People were showing up at conventions, harassing others. Also, minors scroll through these videos. I mean, there's so much going on. So just saying, just don't read it if you don't like it. No, that's not gonna cut it. It means nothing when the platform pushes it onto teens or you pages, something else to think about. Exactly. BookTok is just a community of porn addicts with a superiority complex. Not all, of course. She's probably just referring to this specific subset of dark romance. It just looks cleaner and cute because it's wrapped in a pretty cover, but it's the constant dopamine chasing, this growing tolerance that demands darker, crazier, shocking content to feel something.
Not spice. It's not a romantic novel. It's
that video is two things, and it is two things only. It's misogyny and it's laziness.
Literally everyone on BookTok has refused to take genuine criticism of the way that they act. Suggestion is when you see the type of content that this guy's talking about, you simply click not interested and ignore the problem, which is horrible advice. You yourself actually even acknowledge that the problem he's describing is very valid. Constantly getting the question, is it spicy, fills me with burning rage. Y'all are addicts. There is a constant pattern of people on BookTok saying like, oh, I won't read a book if it's not spicy. If you can't read a book if it's not spicy, you have a problem. The reading is a byproduct of the addiction that you've normalized, and acknowledging that is not misogynistic.
When men get addicted to visual pornography, we call it a crisis, rightfully so. We talk about detachment from real intimacy and emotional numbness, but when women binge this kind of written version of pornography with the same compulsive pull, we can't call it out, we have to actually call it empowerment. The difference is that men's addictions tend to be more visual and explicit, while women's are emotional. So men get hooked on what they see, and then women get hooked on what they read and what they feel, what those words make them feel, but it can be just as harmful. However, of course, in the traditional porn industry, it's worse in obvious ways. It exploits real people, but fiction can normalize harm, make real intimacy feel dull in comparison. Also, the damage, you can hide behind this illusion of intelligence because you're reading, so it slips under the radar. Now you never know, like someone could say, yeah, I read a lot. Ask them what they're reading.
One of the funniest things about BookTok are the guys that like try to play into BookTok and just fail. I love how nonchalant he tries to act about this, like he didn't set his phone up.
I'm so tired of weird middle-aged women trying to convince me that BookTok is okay. Exclusively read books about violent men coming on to implied young girls or older women who act like young girls.
When I get my dog ass back home and I open up that laptop and I start going through my comments to see which book I want, you want to know what I saw when I looked up those books? Looked up just the covers? Naked smut! And then conveniently not telling me, like as if y'all are trying to convert people or something. Nothing.
So that's really creepy. See, he's saying that he was asking for recommendations for new books, and all these people were just listing smut books and not mentioning the fact that they were smut.
No one is saying that these are smut novels or even books that have a sexual nature to them. Like, they're all just acting like it's a normal book. Y'all have a problem. The things that were being said to me, because I was like, maybe just a normal book would be nice.
No spice, I can't read.
A romantic was released, where the romance in the book is between a slave and her slave master.
Nobody save her. She's exactly where she wants to be. To whoever's being dragged, how does it feel to live my dream?
What are you doing? Do they ever actually ride the bike? What's the point of having the helmet if you're never actually riding the bike? Like, they're always inside with the helmet.
Someone explain to me why all the cute bikers be too old for me? Like, literally. Because you're a child.
Babe, I have the hiccups. What do you mean? Hiccups!
Ah! Oh my gosh, you scared me. They're gone now. Thank you, Papa.
I'm gonna vomit. I can't. It's your 18.
No.
Okay, now I'm seeing what this is. I feel like a lot of these people know who their audience is. Oh, and the door closed. So are you guys gonna have the fun? Exactly, someone's calling it out cringe. Just ride your bike, bro. When only they, them can calm me down. Only them can calm me down?
Dark romance girlies, you're making us look bad. Apparently there's some 16-year-old that's in a mask, maybe a biker helmet, and y'all are him and giving him dark romance recommendations, very spicy, smutty, inappropriate recommendations. As dark romance girlies, we're always like, oh, it's fiction, you know, it's not real life. And I agree, but right now you're blurring the lines. That is a minor, a whole child, and he's real.
And good on her for calling it out. We need more of that. I fear that dark romance has ruined regular romance for me.
What do you mean he didn't kidnap her? He didn't unalive every person that wronged her? He didn't stalk her for days? Whack.
Yeah, that's an addiction. This is very concerning. But apparently we can't say anything because that would be sexist. And if you speak up about it and you're actually worried about people's mental health, you either hate women or you hate men. Middle-aged dark romance authors, when they forgot to include an uncomfortable age gap between a man in his 50s and a freshly 18-year-old girl who's known him since she was born.
Everyone hates until they call it dark romance. Who said that?
He's a lawyer by day, serial killing stalker by night, murdered this woman's dad, and he's like, yeah, and I don't feel bad about it because he deserved it. Justice was served. But now he's like, wait, did I actually just murder an innocent man for real? So he's looking more and more into it, and he's developing this really intense, overwhelming obsession with this woman who he just made an orphan. And all of this I can forgive because it's a dark romance. The mommy issues on this freak. And he's like, oh my god, she reminds me so much of my mom.
That's disgusting. It's also interesting how him actually murdering people wasn't enough for you to say, yeah, no. Outside of Book Talk, when they get called out for inappropriately harassing hockey players and flashing unconsenting participants with an adult toy, as well as cornering and essaying a performer at a book convention. Yeah, they seem like great people. No, they seem like well-rounded individuals who understand fiction versus reality. Psychologically, I think the fascination with dark romance and true crime also, with some of these women often comes from either trauma, no doubt about that, but also this way you can read about something dangerous and forbidden, whatever, but you're in a safe environment, right? You're in control. So then just reading a book or watching true crime, that lets them experience that in a safe way, I guess. But I also think it's this idea of, I can fix him or her or whatever, as if they're not awful human beings. Or no, they understand that, they acknowledge that, but they can tame them, right? They're awful to everyone else, but not you, because you're different. It offers them a sense of control over what feels or who feels uncontrollable. Again, in theory, if they all understood that this is a book, fine. But when they start their shenanigans with true crime, serial killers that they find hot, and saying, oh, free him, he's too cute to go to prison, that's just so disgusting. Some women argue that criticizing dark romance is sexist, but the issue isn't women being sexist beings, it's the normalization of that violence, coercion, obsession, unhealthy dynamics. It's the way toxic relationships get glamorized and then sold back to women as empowerment. You're being played, girl. POV, you're in a dark romance. Why did you just pick up a backpack with Hello Kitty on it? Looks like it's for a 5-year-old. No, and now we're animals. Dark romance men. And under that video, by the way, they decided to put a photo of a child touching 2 shirtless men in a pool with 33,000 likes. No. Anything else you guys want to add to the list? You got anything else? But it's just fiction. It's just fiction.
Does it have spice?
No, it's Russian literature from the 1800s.
I have a huge crush on this man, but I know I can't have him for a million reasons. Mostly because he's my dead boyfriend's dad. Just not okay, right?
We need to talk about the essay that took place at the Cinders and Stardust Ball this past weekend. Now, for those of you who don't know what the Cinders and Stardust Ball is, it is a dark romance convention that takes place twice a year, and the most recent one took place in Boston this past weekend, and one of the people who attended was a male musician who goes by the name Animus. Multiple eyewitnesses. He was essayed by multiple women. This is what H.T. Carlton had to say, who is an author who attended the event as well. He was cornered as well. This is the author Lee Rivers, and she was also essayed as well.
So again, when we see how all of this affects people in real life, or again, these girls who are romanticizing these men just because they're good looking, but they're serial killers, yeah, that's a huge problem. And when you're not speaking up about your own book talk community, what are you doing? Men's consumption of exploitative gets called out constantly because it reflects cultural decay, not just individual taste, and it should be criticized. It harms both men and women, and especially kids who are exposed to it younger and younger every year. The same standard should apply to women's media. Both can be harmful, but in different ways. If dark romance glamorizes abuse, or it trains readers to crave harm over healthy relationships, yeah, that's an issue. Calling that out isn't misogyny, it's accountability. It's caring about mental health, about the kind of culture that we're building. Anyways, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Like, share, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.